within the shadows of America's darkest history lie places where the walls still whisper, where tortured souls roam endlessly, trapped between worlds. Tonight, we journey into the heart of terror to uncover the top 10 most haunted asylums in America. Forgotten institutions of pain, madness, and restless spirits. Dare to step inside, but beware, some doors should never be opened. 1. Pennhurst Asylum, Pennsylvania. Hidden deep in the woods of Spring City, Pennsylvania, the abandoned halls of Pennhurst Asylum still echo with screams from the past. Opened in 1908 as the Eastern State Institution for the Feeble-Minded and Epileptic, it was meant to be a place of care. But what unfolded inside was a nightmare. Patients, many just children, were locked in cages, chained to beds, and subjected to brutal experiments. Overcrowded, understaffed, and forgotten by the world, Pennhurst became a prison of agony. Reports of abuse and inhumane treatment leaked out, but nothing stopped the torment until it was finally shut down in 1987. Today, visitors speak of shadowy figures lurking in the tunnels, disembodied whispers in the dark, and cold, unseen hands brushing against their skin. Some even claim to hear the distant sobs of children begging to be released. Pennhurst isn't just haunted, it's a scar on history that never healed. Enter, if you dare. 2. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, West Virginia. In the heart of West Virginia stands the towering and decaying shell of the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, a place built to heal minds, but remembered for breaking them. Opened in 1864, it was designed to hold 250 patients. At its peak, it crammed in over 2,400 souls. The overcrowding led to chaos. Patients wandered naked through filthy halls, screams echoed day and night, and lobotomies were performed with crude tools. Darkness seeped into every stone. After it closed in 1994, the asylum became a magnet for the supernatural. Paranormal investigators have captured eerie voices, shadow figures darting between rooms, and sudden, freezing temperatures. Some claim to see the spirit of a nurse stabbed to death in the halls. Others speak of a little girl named Lily, who still laughs and plays, unaware she's long dead. The building itself seems alive, watching, waiting. Once you enter, something follows, something that never left. F3. Randolph County Asylum, Indiana. Tucked away in Winchester, Indiana, the Randolph County Asylum, also known as the Randolph County Infirmary, looks like just another forgotten building. But inside, the air hangs heavy with sorrow and something far more sinister. Opened in 1899, it was meant to house the poor, the sick, the mentally ill, and the unwanted. But what truly went on behind those brick walls remains cloaked in mystery. Residents lived and died in isolation. Many were buried in unmarked graves on the property, their names lost to time. Today, visitors report the overwhelming feeling of being watched. Doors slam on their own. Whispers echo in empty rooms. Apparitions of former patients, nurses, and even children have been seen roaming the darkened hallways. Some say the asylum feeds off fear, drawing energy from the living to keep its dead awake. The deeper you go, the colder it gets. And once you're inside, something knows you're there. 4. Rolling Hills Asylum, New York. Deep in the countryside of East Bethany, New York, stands the crumbling remains of Rolling Hills Asylum, a place where the forgotten were sent, and many never left. Opened in 1827 as a poorhouse, it housed the mentally ill, the homeless, the elderly, and even criminals. Over time, it became a dumping ground for society's unwanted. Death was common. Over 1,700 bodies are believed to be buried on the grounds, most in unmarked graves. Inside, the shadows move on their own. Disembodied voices call out names. One towering spirit known only as Roy, a 7-foot-tall former patient, has been seen looming in doorways. Others report being scratched, pushed, or suddenly overcome with dread. The building groans as if it remembers. Whispers come from behind sealed doors. Rolling Hills doesn't just haunt, it consumes. Those who enter looking for ghosts often find more than they bargained for. 5. Athens, Lunatic Asylum, Ohio. In Athens, Ohio, where fog drifts over the hills and silence hangs thick, the Athens Lunatic Asylum, now known as The Ridges, still holds the weight of the dead. Opened in 1874, it was once a sprawling mental hospital with over 500 acres of isolation. Lobotomies, electroshock therapy, and restraint cages were routine. The screams of the forgotten echoed through the stone halls for over a century. But its darkest story is that of Margaret Schilling, a patient who vanished in 1978. Her body was found weeks later, locked in an abandoned room. Her decomposed form left a permanent stain on the floor, one that no amount of cleaning has ever removed. Today, visitors say her ghost still lingers, watching from windows or standing silently in the spot where she died. Strange noises, flickering lights, and shadows that shouldn't move all plague the site. The Ridges doesn't just remember pain, it preserves it. And every step you take, something unseen walks beside you. 6. Eloise Asylum, Michigan. Once a massive complex in Westland, Michigan, the Eloise Asylum began as a poorhouse in the 1830s and grew into a self-contained city of horror. At its peak, it had its own police force, fire department, farm, and even a morgue. Over 10,000 patients passed through its wards. Many never came out. Lobotomies, experimental surgeries, and electroshock therapy were performed without consent. The screams were drowned by silence and forgotten. Today, most of the complex is gone, but what remains is drenched in fear. Paranormal investigators report screams from empty hallways, shadows darting across walls, and ghostly apparitions in the basement morgue. One legend speaks of a woman in white wandering the ruins, calling out for someone only she can see. The earth beneath Eloise holds thousands of unmarked graves, bodies buried and erased. But their souls, they never left. Step inside and you'll feel it. The air is thick, the darkness alive. Eloise isn't abandoned, it's waiting. 7. Northern State Mental Asylum, Washington. Hidden in the misty forests of Sedro-Woolley, Washington, the Northern State Mental Asylum was once a grand facility meant to treat the mentally ill, but its beautiful exterior masked unspeakable horrors. Opened in 1912, it held thousands of patients, many subjected to forced lobotomies, isolation, and cruel experimental treatments. The asylum operated like a hidden world, with underground tunnels, a crematorium, and a cemetery with over 1,500 unmarked graves. After it closed in 1973, the silence didn't bring peace. Visitors to the decaying buildings report chilling whispers, footsteps echoing through empty halls, and figures seen out of the corner of the eye. Some say the spirits of tormented patients still wander the grounds, trapped in endless suffering. One well-known specter is a nurse who paces the hallways, vanishing when approached. The wind through the trees carries more than leaves. It carries voices of the damned. Northern State isn't just haunted, it's cursed. 8. Fairfield Hills Asylum, Connecticut. Nestled in Newtown, Connecticut, the Fairfield Hills Asylum looms like a dark fortress over the landscape. Opened in 1931, this psychiatric hospital housed thousands of patients, many forgotten by time. Its cold, sterile halls witnessed countless acts of despair, forced treatments, isolation cells, and experimental therapies. Overcrowded and understaffed, the asylum quickly became a place of suffering rather than healing. After its closure in 1995, rumors of paranormal activity grew. Visitors report chilling voices calling from empty rooms, sudden drops in temperature, and shadowy figures appearing without warning. One story tells of a patient who vanished without a trace, her presence still felt in the locked wards. The asylum's sprawling grounds hide unmarked graves, and the restless spirits trapped within seem to replay their torment endlessly. Fairfield Hills doesn't just echo with history, it breathes with the anguish of its past, waiting for the next soul to cross its threshold. 9. Norwich State Asylum, Connecticut. In the quiet town of Preston, Connecticut, the abandoned Norwich State Asylum stands as a chilling reminder of forgotten souls. Opened in 1904, it was once a bustling mental hospital designed to care for the mentally ill. But over the decades, overcrowding, neglect, and harsh treatments turned it into a place of despair. Patients were subjected to electroshock therapy, restraints, and confinement in dark, isolated cells. Many died alone, their names lost to history. Since its closure in 1996, the asylum has attracted thrill seekers and ghost hunters who report eerie footsteps, sudden cold spots, and voices whispering in the darkness. Shadowy figures are seen lurking in empty corridors, and doors slam without warning. Some say the restless spirits of former patients still wander the grounds, trapped in endless torment. Norwich State Asylum is more than a relic. It's a haunting echo of suffering that refuses to fade. Enter at your own risk, or 10. Topeka State Hospital Asylum, Kansas. In Topeka, Kansas, the decaying walls of Topeka State Hospital Asylum hide decades of torment and silence. Established in 1879, this psychiatric institution was meant to offer refuge, but instead became a cage for the mentally ill. Overcrowding, cruel treatments, and harsh conditions ruled the day. Patients endured painful lobotomies, electroshock therapy, and long periods of isolation. Many died forgotten, buried in unmarked graves on the hospital grounds. After closing in 1997, the asylum's eerie presence only grew stronger. Visitors report unexplained footsteps echoing through empty halls, cold spots that freeze the air, and faint cries for help carried by the wind. Apparitions of former patients have been seen wandering, their faces twisted in anguish. The hospital seems to breathe a heavy sorrow, one that lingers long after the doors were locked for good. Topeka State Hospital is not just abandoned, it's a prison of restless souls waiting in the shadows. These asylums are more than abandoned buildings. They are living nightmares etched into the fabric of time. Behind every crumbling wall, a ghost waits, watching, haunting, and reminding us that some horrors never truly die. If you thought you were brave enough to face these haunted halls, remember, once you leave, the darkness may never let you go.